Hey, good morning. I've had a request to show how I make these dangles. They're pretty simple. It's a page of a book, some beads, some wire or some head pins, and a bulb pin. Other supplies you might need are some lace or some decoration, some wire or some beading head pins or straight pins, a bead that you want to use, and of course, like I said, your bulb pin to dangle it from your book. You might also want some other beading tools, a wire cutter, a wire straightener. I don't have any head pins, so I'm going to have to use a straightener with some regular wire, and maybe a needle nose plier to help you hold on to things, as well as rounding pliers. That'll come in handy for the end of your beads. All right, so let's go ahead and get. You're going to need this size of this paper is 5 inches by 9 inches. Okay, we're going to take and we're going to fold this in half. I want the writing on the outside. And we're going to tear off the white edges. We don't want all the extra white edges. You can leave this because this is where, actually we'll tear that off too. Okay, so you still have a folded edge. This becomes the top of. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to cut our page. I typically just go along with the words of the text, and I'm going to take my cut right up to the edge of that ribbon. And we're just going to cut. Okay, so now all of our strips are cut. If you have a bead roller, go ahead and get it out. If you don't, you can just use a dowel or some other type of a narrow tool and start wrapping. Obviously, I forgot to mention you're going to need some glue, so hold on a second. And secure the end. Okay, so just kind of press it down, make sure it's glued relatively well. If you want, you can put paint on the end of this. You can dip it in, spray it, whatever you like to decorate the strips. I'm going to take and put our decorative piece around the top. This is actually a tape, so I'm going to kind of measure off how much I think I'm going to need. And then cut it. And I'm going to take and peel this and put some glue on. Tape, a little glitter tape on there. Cut it a little short. That's okay. You can go around it with another piece for purposes. I'm not going to worry about it too much. Next, we're going to need a length of wire. I didn't have any head pins, so I'm going to go ahead and use a length of wire. I'm going to cut off about 5 or 6 inches, more than I know that I'm going to need. And you can trim it down later. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to straighten this a little bit. It's a little stiff. Okay. Now, you're wondering, okay, so now if you look into the inside, you have a hole obviously in the center of your bead, and you need to run your wire up through this hole. Now, if you're using a head pin, you probably want to put a small bead on the end of it or something so that it's not going to pull through. Because I don't have a head pin to put a bead on in there, I am going to take and put a loop on the end of my wire. I will do that, and then we'll push it through the bead. And the loop needs to be larger, obviously, than the bottom of the hole of the bead that you're putting it into. So get you a little wire on there. We're going to squish it down a little bit, kind of help it keep its shape. Okay. And then we're going to take and run that wire right through the center of our bead. Now, as you can see, it's going to hold pretty securely. It's not going to pull out of there. You don't need any glue or anything. Then we're going to take our pretty bead, just pop this on here. So there you go. And like I said, I cut more than I needed for this. So we're going to trim this off, and then we'll loop it on the top for our head pin, our pin. Taking your round pliers, go ahead and break the neck, and then roll her back to make a nice little loop. Okay, there you go. And here's our little bulb pin. And you've got a bead ready to hang on to a book as a spine dangle, or a card as just a little extra decoration. And you can put as much embellishment on these things as you like. Just know that as you fimble and play with these things, they're gonna curl up and get kind of interesting looking. And that's that. I enjoyed this short little tutorial. I'm obviously gonna take and edit a few things out just to make it a little neater, quicker, whatever. All right, you have a good day.